Just finished watching the sunset here in San Diego, California. It was a beautiful sunset, and I've been hanging out on the beach today. There's just so much here to appreciate. I don't really even know what to share, but I just wanted to make this video just to kind of touch base really with myself, but just share some thoughts, whatever comes in this moment, kind of have it down on record. I think this YouTube channel that I'm creating is really for myself. It's something that I can use to kind of catalog my thoughts with and reflect upon in the future, but as well, perhaps those thoughts can inspire others to expand upon their own reality and expand upon the topics that they think about. This is a cool beach. It's called Black's Beach. It's in San Diego, and I don't know if you can see, but it's got this black colored sand. And so whenever you see that on a beach, unless there's been an oil spill nearby, it actually means that it's iron oxide. And so it's, in essence, it's rust. I mean, really, when you get down to it, we've all seen rust, an old, rusty iron skillet or something like that. And rust comes about through the oxidation of the iron. On that note, I love the idea that our blood is red because, in essence, it's rusting, right? It's iron. It's red when the iron has the oxygen molecule attached to it, and then it turns the kind of bluish color once that oxygen is removed by the metabolizing processes in the body. So, but yeah, black sand on the beach is iron oxide. It's actually magnetic. You can take a magnet and verify if it is iron oxide, and if it's iron, it'll stick to the magnet. If not, it's probably an oil spill or something like that, some kind of pollution. But I love thinking of all the dynamics, especially when you have that high iron content. It kind of means, and so something to think about too is that it'll stick together in kind of these streaks or in these clumps because of the iron molecules aligning to the magnetic field of the earth. So it's not that they are magnetic themselves, but in the presence of the earth's magnetic field, they will kind of align with each other, attach with each other, and so they tend to clump together. But it's cool to think about all the dynamics, in a place like this. And there's just so much going on. So like you have the salt water, which has its own, conductive properties, and the quartz crystals in the sand have their own, have a piezoelectric aspect, a dielectric aspect. I believe a diamagnetic aspect as well with quartz. I could be wrong on that one, and then of course the iron oxide has a magnetic property, and so you have this kind of, all of these forces creating this oscillating environment, not to mention, the waves themselves creating this kind of ebb and flow, all throughout the beach, especially when the sand is wet like that. The conductivity is going to permeate the whole beach, and so it's, it's something that we don't always appreciate or kind of tap into that energetic sensation, but it's there, right? I mean, that's the physics of this environment. Whether or not we're feeling that or sensing that, is up to each individual, but that's the reality of this environment. And so it's just cool to kind of, understand that and then try and appreciate that through the experience, right? Because what's the point of understanding something if you can't actually, bring that into your reality and appreciate it? And so, something with the sand too. So if because the sand particles are so small, that energy it's very kind of staticky. The oscillations are on such a small level, and that's part of why we don't feel it as as much as, I don't know what another, just, I mean, like an electric current, I mean, or something more dense, you might say, or more, I don't know, that has a larger current aspect. I'm lacking words right now, but the sand, the energy of the sand would kind of be like, on your television, that it would be like that staticky energy, whereas if you had like a solid rock or something like that, where all the molecules, all the crystalline structures were more entangled, you might say, then the electromagnetic impulses, or just the energetic impulses, are felt more fluidly in that medium, just like sound, or any vibration, really. The denser the medium, the faster, the easier it's allowed to travel. Sound travels faster in water, so it travels even faster in, say, a solid rock. And so anyways, I don't know, I'm a little scattered. I don't know what to say, but there's just so much here, and I'm just kind of appreciating it all. And again, I think if there is a message that I'm trying to share, it's like, learn about your world, because in that process of understanding the forces, understanding the physics, the chemistry, you begin to, it comes alive, right? Everything comes alive. There's nothing that is dead, right? Everything has this energetic aspect to it, and you can begin to, again, just experience that in your reality. So I'm someone who has been very mind-based through much of my life. We can get a little, I don't know, metaphysical, spiritual for a second, and when you kind of look at masculinity and femininity, the masculinity tends to relate more to the mind, and femininity relates more to the heart. And kind of like, because the mind is this sort of, it's this kind of outward expression. It's this, insemination of reality, whereas the heart is kind of this, the womb of our being, you might say, or it's the balancing, focal point of a family, of a reality. Let's talk, relating that to the feminine aspect. And so, yeah, I've had more of this mental kind of rational perspective, and I've always wondered about spiritual things, but I couldn't experience them because my rational mind couldn't understand how they could be possible, how those things could exist. And so, I've had this sort of lifelong process of learning and actually understanding that, the physics and the metaphysics, or the physics and the spirituality, are one, right? There is no separation, right? It's one spectrum of reality, you might say, or one spectrum of existence. And yeah, it's just a beautiful thing to learn all you can about that, but then to apply that learning into your experience. So anyways, there's lots of things to talk about, but and I'm getting chilly. I'm probably shaking the camera a little bit. We thought it got cold in San Diego. Man, I thought it was supposed to be warm here. All right. Well, I guess that's all for now, and I'll check in with you guys again soon, but keep learning, right? Keep being open to all there is to experience in every moment. So thank all, give all, love all, be all. Peace, you guys.